West Denver. Sleep deprived and heavily caffeinated.
All right, let's do this then.
This is the Jeff and Bill Show.
I don't agree with that.
They don't always agree, but hey, at least they have coffee.
Coffee.
And each other.
I love you, man.
God help us.
I want to bless him. We need all the help we can get.
Now here's Jeff Hunt and Bill Thorpe. The Jeff and Bill Show on News Talk 710 KNUS.
It is 9 a.m. in the Mile High City on this Thursday, August 21st, 2025. Good morning, Denver, Colorado. You've tuned in to the Jeff and Bill Show, News Talk 710 KNUS. I'm your co-host, Jeff Hunt, along with Bill Thorpe, bringing you the freshest insights, hottest takes from the right, left, and center. We're going to continue our conversation. Democrats down at the state capitol ensuring that state funding for abortion remains even in light of a $1 billion budget deficit. Is this the right use of our limited funds? Does this just prove that the Democrats will literally protect the murder of innocent children at all costs? Let's go to the phone lines. Jacqueline, Nebraska. Good morning, Jacqueline. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Good morning, fellas. God bless you, Jeff. I wanted to say I grew up in the 60s and 70s, and back then we did not have the pill. We didn't have anything like that. You could, if you had a boyfriend. I know there were condoms, but I grew up in a home with 3 sisters. There were 4 of us girls, and my mother put the fear of God in us. What happens to you when you make that kind of a blunder? This is the consequences. And it was a home that we were all very conscientious of that. And I think the Christian aspect and the moral aspect of this thing starts in the home and the way children and people are raised. There's no reason nowadays for a woman that's going to go out and be promiscuous or doesn't want a baby. She doesn't have to have one. There's prevention for that. There is no reason to do it. And I think Billy's right in a way. Why are they allowing themselves to get pregnant and then to abort it? What kind of a statement, what kind of a sick statement does that make in society? A woman would make that.
Yeah, I mean, it's... I understanding the why. I don't want to dismiss that. I think that's important. I fought to have research done to understand the why. And the state of Colorado won't even do that. It's a weird racket that they do to protect the abortion industry at all costs.
That proves my point from last hour, that neither party is concerned about the why. It proves my point. Well, exactly proves my point.
Bill, Republicans introduced the bill to understand the why. And Democrats said no.
Let me tell you something, fellas. There's something else here, too, that goes along with this. I know women in Colorado that have brought 5 generations of children into the world on welfare. Now, I know that they used to get $127 a month for every baby they had. I don't know any women now that are having that many children that are not on some kind of welfare. They got paid for that. And when I was in high school, there wasn't one girl that got pregnant all through the years I went to high school. You know, my daughter went to Golden High School, and there must have been 5 or 6 young girls who were pregnant. They even had a little special class and special attention for those girls that were going to have a baby. And I made really sure that when my son was young, and my daughter, I put the fear of God in them what would happen. Not only would they have to deal with me, but they would have to deal with this for the rest of their lives. So they better make the commitment to want to do that. Yep. And if you don't teach children, keep your panties on and your legs closed, they will never learn. Some people have to learn the hard way. And sadly thing is, abortion is a hard way to learn it.
You're exactly right, Jacqueline. And I want to point this out, too, as you're great at pointing out here, that this is oftentimes, with the exception, I would say, of rape and incest, the result of irresponsible behavior, of getting pregnant, either outside of wedlock or, not implementing the current tools that are all available to you right now to protect that. But I think it's something like 90% of abortions are elective. Okay. So if this is a result of irresponsible behavior, why is it that hardworking Coloradans with their tax dollars have to pay for it? Why is it the burden on us to pay for that?
It shouldn't. It shouldn't be, and we shouldn't be paying for everybody's children. One child's one thing, but 5 or 6 or 7, I know a lady had 9 kids on welfare. The thing of it is, like you said in the beginning, it's a billion dollar business. I mean, the organ donating, tissue donating, all the stuff that goes along with that you don't even hear about. Are they buying these? Well, I think in most cases they are buying these fetuses. And at 7 weeks, fetus is the size of a kidney bean, and it has a heartbeat. So I do believe that life starts in the womb. It starts early. And I think when they do that, I think there's got to be a financial reason for these women doing it, because there's no reason to have a baby if you don't want it, and there's no reason to get with a man if you don't want him. It's a simple thing. When I was a teenager, we didn't have that option. You had to behave yourself. I mean, you literally did. And I can't imagine going home and telling my mother and dad, looking them in the eye and saying, I'm pregnant. I think I would have ran away. I just could not do that. But that nowadays doesn't bother any of these kids. I mean, I've been at the hospital, and there was a little gal. She was 15 years old, and she was about 8 months pregnant, sitting across from me with her mother. You know, and you see it everywhere you go. If your parents don't teach you who's going to. The schools, it's not their responsibility. Your doctor, your healthcare worker, they try, but it's up to mom and dad, and it's up to do it in the right way.
Jacqueline, Nebraska, sure appreciate the call. Thanks so much. Her line is open, 303-696-1971, or text us on the Dan Caplis Law Text line, 720-819-5115. Now it's time for News and Comment with Blake Olson.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, News and Comment.
Good morning, Thursday, 76 and sunny in Denver. Expecting a high of 96 today. This portion of the news sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story, a special session at the Capitol for state lawmakers, basically because the left can't do simple math. Top Republican in the State House, Rose Puglisi, on with Jeff and Billy this morning. And my computer is freezing up. We'll hear from her in just a second. You get what you vote for, and it's kind of like Stephen A. Smith, you know, the fraud Stephen A. Myth. For the 873rd time, he says that DJT is doing a great job, but yet he didn't vote for him. What? I mean, this is all he does.
There is no doubt that he has done more than practically almost any administration has tried to do when it comes to ending conflicts around the world. And he's put himself in a position where the political capital that he stands to gain isn't necessarily that great. So his willingness to do so is obviously something that shouldn't be ignored and something that should be, dare I say, applauded to some degree. Again, that doesn't mean I like everything he does. You and I can argue back and forth about a few things. But in the end, you are absolutely right when you point out that there's not much to gain for him in a lot of this, yet he engages anyway, and you have to give credit where credit is due.
Well, of course. Once again, he says he's right. I mean, my computer is all messed up right now. But, yeah, he agrees with DJT. He praises him. He does this every day. And he's been doing this and saying this for 8-10 years. You know, he'll call Hannity and Levin and everything. He's on Fox News last night. But yet the fool still votes on the left. What is your problem? Here's Rose Puglisi talking about the lefties in this state.
This is a very premature special session. You know, we do have a budget deficit. We will continue to have budget deficits as long as the Democrats continue to spend more than they take in. But what I think is really disappointing is that the Democrats are basically going to run bills to raise money on the backs of hardworking Coloradans at a time when people are struggling so much. So Republicans have solutions that involve cuts and how we can find efficiencies in government, and Democrats just want to tax you more.
God bless her and the conservatives at this special session today. Founder of Focus on the Family, Dr. James Dobson, has passed away at the age of 89. He spread the good news and promoted the most important institute in our country, the family, and wrote some incredible books, including The Strong-Willed Child, Dare to Discipline, and Love Must Be Tough. What a blessing to us. Dr. James Dobson passed away at 89 today. 47 posting this morning, hey, free Tina Peters, a brave and innocent patriot who's been tortured by crooked Colorado politicians, including the big mail-in ballot supporting governor of the state. Let Tina Peters out of jail right now. She did nothing wrong except catching the Democrats cheat in the election. She is an old woman and very sick. DJT concluded the post saying that if she's not released, he's going to take harsh measures. And 47 is reportedly pressing Russia and Ukraine to meet without him in the meeting. And Ukraine is getting slaughtered as they have no chance in this. They need to quit while they still kind of have a country. You have no choice. We'll see if that happens. The Adams County Sheriff's Office says that a suspect managed to escape arrest last night in the area of East 70th Avenue in Washington. Law enforcement set a perimeter to try to catch the suspect after a report of shots fired in the area. The scene remained active for several hours before the search was called off. The sheriff's office says the case will be turned over to detectives for further investigation. Now in D.C., fighting crime with the addition of the National Guard is working. Listen to the latest stats on crime from D.C.
With the Guard on the ground, crime is on the decline. For the first time in a long time, D.C. has gone 7 days without a homicide. And that's not all. Carjackings are down 83%. Robberies are down 46%. Car thefts down 21%. And overall violent crime is down 22%.
Wow. And then Judge Janine Pirro this morning at the Capitol.
Last night we had 53 arrests, 10 guns were taken off the street, making it a total of 630 arrests and 86 guns taken off the street. So what does that mean? That means those guns cannot be used to shoot or kill anyone. So as the president continues to make D.C. safe, we will continue to prosecute the cases, support the blue, and get those guns out of the hands of criminals.
All right, then we got Cory Booker and Governor Newsom. They're doing a Zoom call with this representative from Texas, and she's doing her little Zoom from the bathroom at the state capitol in Texas. Here's what happens. Oh, they love turning this thing into a victim situation, victimization.
Try to silence those leaders from being heard and speaking out.
Try it one more time.
And all of our Democratic elected officials.
Sorry, I have to leave. They said it's a felony for me to do this. Apparently, I can't be on the floor or in the bathroom. Well, you told me I was only allowed to be here in the bathroom. No, hang on. Bye, everybody. I've got to go.
Hey, that is outrageous. And first of all, let me tell you something. Representative Collier in the bathroom has more dignity than Donald Trump in the Oval Office.
Oh, good
that
line.
Is outrageous. What they're trying to do right there is silence an American leader, silence a black woman. And that is outrageous. And I hope everybody took note of that. The fact that she can't even let her voice be heard is freaking outrageous.
It is.
And this is what we're fighting for here. This is ultimately what this is about. What we just witnessed. Them trying to shut her down and say it's illegal for her to be in the bathroom and on this call. This is the lengths that they're going to in Texas.
Yeah, because it was a state law. You can't do it. No one can be in the bathroom. Doesn't matter if you're a Republican or Democrat. You can't do that from the bathroom. So he's going to try to capitalize on it. What a joke. Rockies beat Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers last night. Today is getaway day. First pitch at Coors, low to 110. 74 in Parker, 73 in Superior, 76 in Denver. Jeff and Billy continue. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
It's going to be another hot day, but starting tomorrow and gaining momentum through the weekend will be a cooling trend and an increased chance of shower and thunderstorm activity. Highs today, mid to upper 90s. Lows tonight, low to mid 60s. Upper 80s, afternoon and evening thunderstorms likely Friday. Showers and thunderstorms likely at times with highs only 70s and low 80s this weekend. Weather is a service of L&L Heating and Air Conditioning. For quick, trustworthy, and dependable service, call L&L Heating and Air Conditioning at 720-851-1691. Visit them online at bestdenverhvac.com. You'll be comfortable with L&L. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
All right, phone line's still hot over this issue. Democrats down at the state capitol protecting abortion at all costs. Literally, the state facing a $1 billion budget shortfall, but they're introducing bills to make sure the money still continues to flow to the abortion industry. What do you think? Liz, Denver, good morning. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Good morning, Jeff and Bill. I just wanted to comment as a mother of 5 and a Denver native, and a person who tries to be aware of what's happening, that a lot of this problem starts in the schools, because at some point in the past, we did allow Planned Parenthood to come into the schools and kind of dictate how our counseling goes. So the kids are now, from what I understand from people who know more than me, they're kind of swimming in sex ed in every single class here in Denver and in many places throughout the country. And so just to and I totally support pro-life and all that, but just to be the devil's advocate, the kids really struggle. They have it tough because they're taught that sex is okay and almost that they're weird if they don't engage in it. And no matter what mom and dad say at home, and I really worked at trying to have my kids respect marriage, understand the value of marriage, the value of children. I'm a grandmother of 9. I'm very grateful for that. But we have to appreciate how hard it is for them. And for the typical young person, because of media like Hollywood, I mean, look back, it's been now at least 20 years that Hollywood's pretty much saying you go on a date and you end up in bed. I mean, what are our kids supposed to do? And parents can do all that they can, but I'm just saying it's really an upward battle. So we as a culture need to change our education and change our media.
Liz, you're not wrong with regards to comprehensive sex education. This was a big battle that we were engaged with. In fact, we got really critical opt-outs for charter schools with regards to this. Planned Parenthood was a part of that from the beginning of the entire drafting of the bill for comprehensive education. They were the primary pushers of it. They were down there testifying all for it. And here's why. Because you end up with a direct pipeline from the comprehensive sex education that's taught by Planned Parenthood in our government-run schools to customers for Planned Parenthood, right? So if you push birth control, as you said, you push, go out on a date and hook up. If you push, if you do get pregnant, we got the abortions. Well, guess who provides the services for all of that when it's time for you to fulfill what you were taught in your classrooms? Planned Parenthood does. And then Planned Parenthood paid for the lawmakers and their campaigns, got them on those committees, wrote the comprehensive sex education bill. Now those lawmakers are going to ensure that state funding continues to come to Planned Parenthood. Liz, this isn't by accident. It's all by design. I saw it firsthand. I've tried to fight it. And that's where we are in the state of Colorado. We're facing a $1 billion budget shortfall, but we sure as heck are going to make sure that abortion services continue to be state funded. It's all a racket.
It is a racket. And the only good thing that's going to come out of this is that all my hardcore family and friends who think differently than me, that we have to have abortion, all that stuff, maybe they'll wake up. Maybe they'll wake up and see that this is just a humongous financial industry, and that if we as a culture really cared about women, we would legislate, inspect, and license our abortion facilities. We would monitor women before and after they get the abortion pill. We would care for our women, which we do not now.
Yep, not at all. Not at all. In fact, the Department of Health here in Colorado doesn't even know how many abortion facilities there are. They have to use Google to go out and find them. They don't license them. They don't regulate them. When an ambulance gets called to these abortion facilities, they try to bury it and hide it. We have no statistics, to Bill's point, as to why people get abortions. And when Republicans tried to understand why people get abortions, Democrats killed it. This thing completely takes place in the dark in the state of Colorado. And every once in a while it pops up, and you see it here at the special session, that they're going to continue to fund this, even in light of a $1 billion budget deficit. Liz, Denver, I sure appreciate your call. Thanks so much. All right, let's talk Black Eyed Pea of Colorado, locally owned and operated by Steve and Michelle. I love this restaurant. My whole family does. With 8 locations, there's sure to be one near you. It's Colorado's cookout and barbecue time at the Black Eyed Pea. Their August menus featuring backyard combos, the St. Louis rib combo or the barbecue 2-meat combo. They have barbecue pulled pork, barbecue chicken breast, and barbecue smoked sausage. It's absolutely delicious. Maybe you're hankering for a sandwich. Try the grilled barbecue Polish sausage topped with grilled onions, or you can do the tender, slow-cooked barbecue pulled pork sandwich topped with coleslaw. Both are served on a toasted brioche bun. They do catering as well: dinner party, rehearsal dinner, wedding reception, or company event. Make it a success with Black Eyed Pea Catering. And of course, Black Eyed Pea gift cards are always great for your special someone, birthday favors, or holiday presents, or just to say thank you to someone. They have you covered. Look, I saw the other day there's an article out there. McDonald's Big Mac meal, $18 in some locations now. I got an entire lunch, including sweet tea, chicken wrap sandwich, side, all that, for cheaper than what you get at McDonald's. And it's fresh, it's locally sourced, it's not processed. It's all at the Black Eyed Pea. It's one of those rare restaurants that all 3 generations love. My parents, my wife and I, and our kids. It is delicious. Keep it in Colorado. Visit the Black Eyed Pea near you. All right, we'll continue. You're listening to the Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Interesting headline coming out of the New York Times. The Democrat Party faces a voter registration crisis. In many cases, people are switching to Republicans in big numbers, especially young folks. But what I found interesting about this article in the New York Times is that while they may not be as Democrat as they were previously in Colorado, as numbers have dropped for Democrats here in Colorado, they aren't going over to Republicans. They're going over to independents. So 2 issues of conversation here. One, the national shift away from the Democrat Party. The New York Times saying that the party is bleeding support and that this has been happening for years. Why is that happening? And then secondly, why isn't Republican numbers, or why aren't Republican numbers growing here in Colorado? Bill, I'll ask you first for the national question. Why is the Democrat Party facing a voter registration crisis?
Oh, I think a number of issues, largely due to the Biden administration and what happened during his time in office, because that's where and when we start to see the erosion taking place. And I still am of the belief that and I could be wrong, that in 2020, people didn't vote for Biden. They voted against Trump, especially coming off the back of COVID. And I do believe that I wouldn't go as far as to say a majority, but a large portion. Yes. I would say the majority, if not over 75% of those that were Biden supporters and then went to Trump was a dissatisfaction in Biden, not a pro-Trump position. And I think that there was some other shifts inside the electorate that went that direction as well. We talked about the idea that Trump was very, very attuned to the economic dangers that people were facing in their own lives, and he played directly into that while the Democrats did not. And so that's what I see inside of this, is a shifting in one way or the other, but I also see them shifting into exactly the island where I live, which is I hate both parties, both y'all suck. And that's where the shift is taking place. We are seeing some younger registration as far as Republicans. But I think the question about here in Colorado is a really apropos one as far as why. Why wouldn't you see the same type of shift here in Colorado versus elsewhere? That's a good question. And it's kind of going back to the conversation we had with Joe from Arvada earlier, that I'm worried that the Colorado GOP is more concerned about conspiracy theories and more concerned about, and this is my word, excuses for losing than examining why they're losing. It's easy to say, well, we lost because the election was stolen. That absolves you of any choices and any responsibility. It's putting it on someone else. And you and I have both been coaches. What I hear in that is the fourth graders that you coach in soccer that complain the referee favored the other team, and that's why they lost. Not the fact that you guys didn't perform up to par. You didn't put the ball in the back of the net. If you had put the ball in the back of the net 7 times, what's the ref going to do about it? That's part of it. If you guys would turn around and if you would have gotten more representatives across the line, more senators across the line in the state, yeah, then the issue of whether or not this is stolen is somewhat irrelevant. For me, that's somewhat of an excuse. But why do you think that it's lagging behind in Colorado versus the other national trend?
Well, Colorado is a unique state in the sense that in one way they're incredibly institutionalized. And what I mean by that is spending time with Bernie Sanders supporters and the 30,000 people that showed up is that, one, they were mostly boomers, which was fascinating. Like, if you just airdrop me into that, I would have been like, John Tesh concert? Is that where I am? Like, they're all older. They all had their little lawn chairs. They were generally very pleasant people. They didn't kick me in the back. That was Antifa. But these people, the Bernie Sanders supporters who came out, and again, guys, 30,000 is huge, huge. Nothing like that had happened in Colorado since Barack Obama and the Greek columns in 2008. Okay? This was a huge turnout, and talking to them, what I learned about them is that they really believe in the institutions that have been built. Social Security, Medicare, colleges for everybody. I mean, they think that government and the institutions that have been provided are a net contributor to a better society. And how dare Elon Musk and Donald Trump tear down these great institutions that we've built, okay? Now, this will explain why younger people are not registering as Democrats. The institutions don't work for them. They can't afford a home. The jobs that they get don't pay a living wage. The colleges that they went to have saddled them with debt, okay? Everything's more expensive. They can't seem to get ahead. All these great institutions that seem to be benefiting boomers are not benefiting the next generation. And as a result, they just don't believe what Democrats are selling. Now, while they may be great institutionalists, what I also find interesting about this next generation and our current generation, in fact, everybody, is that nobody joins anything. And I think that's particularly true here in Colorado. People don't join political parties. They don't join churches. They don't join civic organizations. They don't identify with anything. They just kind of float around and embrace their independence. So Colorado, on one hand, loves the institutions that have been built. And as John Caldera pointed out in our conversation on the Devil's Advocate, not only do they love these institutions, in many ways, they're paid by these institutions, right? He points to the higher education, the university system, and a lot of government programs that write the paychecks for a lot of these boomers. But they believe in these institutions, yet the paradox is they won't join any party or church or civic organization. There's a book, Bowling Alone, I think was the name of it.
The end of the bowling leagues is the idea. I don't remember the name of the title, but that's the idea. The fact that we don't have
Murray. Charles Murray.
Yeah.
So I think it's a unique that it doesn't make it intellectually consistent, but it's that dynamic that takes place in Colorado. That's why we're so blue when it comes to our voting, and yet don't join any actual parties. So I think that's part of the dynamic that we're facing here. But the larger issue nationally is that the institutions that the boomers built aren't working for the next generation. That's why they're becoming Republicans at a higher rate with young people than at any other point in American history.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see how and if this will stick. And I'm also curious about the male-female split, because in the younger generation, it's tacking hard to the GOP and the
among
right
males,
where it's not with females, and that could be a lingering problem in the future. One, just based on demographics of the country, but two, and again, this is it's awful to do this, but when we go back to the prior conversations about abortion and family structure and everything else, if you have the predominance of males registering as Republicans and the predominance of females registering as Democrats, because of the partisan divide in our country, that does not bode well for the core family structure.
Right, they won't get married.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's one of the most key things. If you don't share the same to the battle Bill and I had during the last hour, is it a child or is it not a child? I mean, I had a friend go through a divorce over this issue because the woman in his life found no problem whatsoever taking their daughters to go get an abortion, and he was going, that's our grandchildren. What are you doing? That's our grandchildren. And so if you're not on the same page, those are fundamental differences that I don't know if you can overcome in a marriage. So you bring up a good point. It's going to be hard to get married, but I don't know. Progressive women, from my perspective, don't seem happy. They don't get married. They don't build families. They kill their offspring. To me, that seems like a dead end. I don't know how long that operates in multiple generations, whereas conservative women and conservative men build families, have kids, find that as a value. That seems to be a long-term strategy.
Yes and no, because there is a portion of the conservative manosphere that struggles with women and interpersonal relationships.
Oh, that's weird. I'll grant you that. You're thinking the Andrew Tate groups?
The entire incels and everything else there. And that's one where, you get into roles and how we view women, and that's going to be a problem as well. And I believe that if that is cultivated inside of the conservative manosphere, that is going to have some problems later on down the line. And that is going to hurt, again, the perception of, one, your party, but also building relationships and being credible leaders later on as well.
Oh, they're total losers. And I'm happy to say that guys like Andrew Tate are total losers. And guys like Matt Walsh have engaged with them, fought with them, because in my mind, that manosphere, that Andrew Tate, that hard, I don't even consider it right, because what they're acting like is essentially anti-family libs, which is have lots of different partners, get abortions, who really cares, that type of thing. And I think it's just as wrong whether you're on the right, and I use quotation marks for that, or if you're on the left. Let's talk advanced hair restoration. Look, summer's a time to feel and look your best, but I'm not talking about your abs or tan. Guys, I'm talking about your hair. Restore that bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning during Advanced Hair's once-yearly summer savings event. Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day, and they guarantee your new hair will grow. There's absolutely no one I trust more than Dr. Tanya Pauls and her team at Advanced Hair. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar. Advanced Hair's summer sales event is on for a limited time, so get the details and schedule your free consultation today. 720-459-HAIR, 720-459-HAIR, one-day treatment, life-changing results with Advanced Hair. Your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Check out the incredible before and afters and take advantage of their best offer ever. That's 720-459-HAIR or advancedhair.com, 720-459-HAIR or advancedhair.com. Question I'd love for our listeners. What is happening to the National Democratic Party, particularly to the point where young people are registering as Republicans at a higher rate than they ever have before? My belief is that it's because the institutions that were built by the boomers aren't working. Healthcare's too expensive. Education's too expensive. Nobody can afford a house. You have to work 2 or 3 jobs. Might be all great and wonderful if you're 55 and you've been in a career forever, but if you're 25, it's just not working for you.
Can I throw something else in there
please.
that maybe in the last couple of decades that plays into that, but makes it a little more immediate and talks about the erosion of the Democrat Party at this point? And the question I would have is, what happened to the Obama coalition?
That's a good question.
Where is it? Because we saw a large increase in Democrat registration, Democrat participation, and affiliation. Where has that gone, and why? I'm super curious about that one.
I mean, Bill, I watched all those videos. Tears in young people's eyes upon the election of Barack Obama in 2008. Yeah, what has happened to it? Great question.
Where'd it go?
Give us a call, 303-696-1971, or text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line at 720-819-5115. Speaking of Danny C., love this guy. I've known Dan Caplis for well over a decade. Pro-life, pro-family, pro-faith, pro-America, right there with us on the values. And that matters because who you choose to represent you in an injury case says a lot about you to everyone involved in the case. Dan Caplis, the son of a police officer and a former seminarian, has dedicated the last 40 years of his life to helping people who are hurt in serious motor vehicle crashes. Dan is also believed to be the only lawyer in Colorado history to win 5 straight multi-million-dollar verdicts in Colorado crash cases. Dan is also believed to have won the largest truck crash verdict in Colorado state history. Dan Caplis Law is the official law firm partner of the Denver Nuggets and the Colorado Avalanche. Dan Caplis Law is a serious firm for serious cases. Dan accepts righteous injury cases on a percentage fee basis so that he can represent good people from all walks of life without regard to ability to pay. If you need Dan's help, give him a call. Here's the phone number, 303-770-5551, 303-770-5551, or hit dancaplisLaw.com. That's Dan, C-A-P-L-I-S Law.com. Text messages are hot. We'll get to those. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Wake up, Denver. There's no better place to start your morning than IHOP, where the pancakes are fluffy, the coffee is hot, and the smiles are endless. Wednesday, August 27th, join Jeff and Bill as they broadcast their show live from IHOP at 1595 South Colorado Boulevard in Denver. You're officially invited to be part of the excitement. Come grab your favorite breakfast and watch the Jeff and Bill Show in action from 6 to 10 a.m. Don't forget to try the special Jeff and Bill breakfast. Pancakes, any style eggs, and crispy bacon, all for just $7.10. It's a deal as good as their hot takes. All they need is you. Bring your appetite, bring your friends, and kick off your day with great food and great conversation. See you Wednesday, August 27th at IHOP.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. What happened to the Obama coalition? Great question from Bill. 2008, tears, historic moment. And by 2025, registration among young people leaning Republican at a higher rate than ever before. What happened That's what we're talking about. Let's go to the phone lines. Aaron, Denver. Good morning, Aaron. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Yeah, well, Bill said it best. Both parties suck. The Republican Party here in the state of Colorado, they're so dysfunctional. They don't know what to do. They're wandering in the wilderness. The Democrats, they've lost their mind. I mean, the state is in debt. The mayor's laying off people. $27,000 for a retreat. You had no business being involved in the first place. The priorities are as always all effed up. I'm paying for a sidewalk fee, even though the general fund should be paying for that. And I'm paying for a fee to pick up the trash. That's never happened in the state before. Democrats get in there. They have completely effed it all up. Same with the dumb donkeys have destroyed California. They destroy the dumb donkeys have anything they touch, it has turned to lead. It's been a complete disaster. And and the institutions are only as good as the people that are in the institutions. Well, when you don't have good people in institutions, the institutions turn into a pile of diabolical donkey S. What do you guys got to say?
Yeah, I think it's just the total dysfunction on both sides. But here's the thing, and Aaron, this is the problem. Now, we're talking about the gerrymandering in Texas a little bit. And they're talking about the idea that we need to find safer potential Republican seats. And that, to me, is a good representation of the core of the problem inside of our politics, that it's not about bringing your issues to the voters and letting them choose. It's about having the politicians choose their voters. And if they're allowed to choose those voters, they don't have to do anything to actually make things work. Here's the example that I think you and I can both agree on. And yes, the Democrats are vastly messed up here in Colorado. Let's take a look at District 1 and Diana DeGette. What risks has she taken? Where has she tried to build bridges and get things done and solve problems? She gets to be a strong, she's not out there enough, but she gets to be a strong Democrat voice that can hold on certain issues, because it doesn't matter if things that she votes on necessarily hurt certain constituents, because she's going to win that seat. She's not necessarily going to respond to the needs of what happens inside of the state or even inside of the nation. She's not looking to solve problems. She's looking to keep a job. And as long as we continue to organize our politics based on who's in power and let them choose their own voters, we're going to get this, because the incentive is to create disagreement. Remember, if you start working with the other party, Aaron, you're called a squish. You're called a rhino, or you're not a strong Democrat, and you shouldn't be in the party. Anybody that tries to go across the aisle gets ridiculed for it. So we disincentivize it as a society.
Yeah, but that's why I support term limits, 12 years in the House.
Oh, God, yeah.
12 years in the House, 12 years in the Senate. Term limits gets rid of the career politician. Diane is a career politician. She's been a disgrace. No balanced budgets at the federal level. I could go on and on when it comes to Diane DeGette and the rest of the horde of dumb donkeys that represents the House and the Senate in this. And Hickenlooper, Michael Bennett. They are just a disgrace.
Yep. Aaron, you're not wrong.
Thanks, Aaron.
I appreciate
Great
it.
call,
Thanks
man.
so
Great way to
much,
end the show.
Aaron from Denver. Look, are you looking to upgrade your kitchen, laundry room, or outdoor cooking area? Look no further than Mountain High Appliance, family owned and operated for the past 31 years. They have hundreds of appliances hooked up for you to have a true try before you buy experience. They offer professional delivery and installation. Shop confidently with the price match guarantee, ensuring you get the best deal and special financing options when it's time for appliances. Think Mountain High Appliance, your favorite appliance store, 3 locations in the Denver metro, or online at mountainhighappliance.com. Bill and I are going to be at the Taste of Douglas County today. Come hang out with us. We'll be there starting at 5 o'clock today.
Yeah, 5 to 8 p.m. Get your tickets. $10 right now. It's going to double on you if you wait until 5 o'clock. Tasteofdouglascounty.com. Tasteofdouglascounty.com.
See you tonight. You're listening to Jeff and Bill.
710 KNUS.